The Coach Curl podcast is brought to you by Think and Grow Business, the home of the Think and Grow Business Mastermind. If you're serious about growing your business, get serious and join a mastermind group today. Find out more at thinkandgrowbusiness.com.au.
Hey there, I'm Tony Curl and welcome to episode 109 of the Coach Curl podcast. Today, I'm sharing just a little bit of inspiration about feeling good tired.
Way to go, guys. Way to go. Keep it going. Good job, guys. All right, Paul, I see you. All right, Tom, let's finish. Coach Curl.
Great job, guys. Coach Curl, we love you!
I always get such a giggle about that, but and that was the New York Marathon. For those regular listeners of the podcast, know that was some of the sound bites and the sound grabs that I took away from the New York Marathon, which was absolutely awesome. Hey, welcome to episode 109 of the Coach Curl podcast. Today I'm sharing just a little bit of inspiration about a concept called good tired. But before I do, the podcast unfortunately finds us just a couple of days after the horrific incident that happened in Christchurch in New Zealand. And, you know, it shouldn't need to be said, but my thoughts certainly go out to everyone that's been impacted by that horrible, horrible event. And just one of the things that I find really, really hard to believe in today's world is that we have individuals here that have this mindset that violence and terror solves problems. I just cannot fathom people with that mindset that violence and terror solves problems, because it doesn't. You know, and as individuals, people say, well, what can we do? And my response is we have to do whatever we can as individuals to stamp this shit out. You know, that's the reality. We have to do whatever we can. Now, so in this particular case, we saw an increasingly isolated person who was fascinated by this cause of, you know, I'm not even going to put words to it, but this cause of that, obviously, I don't even want to give it credence. So he had this fascination to a cause, and he also was addicted and fascinated by the shoot 'em up computer games. You know, some of the people that knew him talked about disturbing Facebook posts. And all I can ask is why? Why was this allowed to continue? You know, is it as an individual we think it's none of our business? Do we think as an individual he'll grow out of it? You know, we need to, each and every one of us, we have a responsibility in this, you know. Now, of course, my thoughts always go to anyone that's been impacted by terror or gun violence. And it's only when the individuals stand up that we can really affect positive change. So, sorry to start the podcast on such a down note, but I really do believe, I really do have optimism for human spirit, and I do believe that as individuals and collectively we can overcome this sort of nonsense. But today's podcast, episode 109, I want to share an excerpt from a singer-songwriter, Harry Chapin. Now, Harry's a legend in my eyes. Now, I started listening to Harry when I was in high school, and a lot of his lyrics and a lot of his songs have stayed with me all my life. But Harry, unfortunately, was killed in a car crash in 1981, and well before his time. His music is appreciated by so many, and he still, as I said, has a strong place in my heart. Songs like Cats in the Cradle, Taxi, As Dreams Go By, they're all songs that tell a story, and they all are an inspiration for me. Now I'm going to share an excerpt from a album of from a collection of his that you can find on iTunes, and you'll see the link to his iTunes in the description. And in this little piece, I'm stumbling over the word excerpt, but in this little piece, he shares some words of wisdom from his grandfather. Now, if you haven't heard this before, you are certainly in for a treat. But if it is the first time, or if you have heard it before, I'm sure that you'll appreciate the message. And as I said, the link to Harry's iTunes page is in the description. But here is his speech excerpt, words of wisdom from his grandfather.
My grandfather was a painter. He died at age 88. He illustrated Robert Frost's first 2 books of poetry. And he was looking at me and he said, "Harry, there's 2 kinds of tired. There's good tired and there's bad tired." He said, ironically enough, bad tired can be a day that you won. But you won other people's battles. You lived other people's days, other people's agendas, other people's dreams. And when it was all over, there was very little you in there. And when you hit the hay at night, somehow you toss and turn. You don't settle easy. He said, good tired, ironically enough, can be a day that you lost. But you don't even have to tell yourself, because you knew you fought your battles, you chased your dreams, you lived your days. And when you hit the hay at night, you settle easy. You sleep to sleep with the just, and you can say, take me away. He said, Harry, all my life I wanted to be a painter, and I've painted. God, I would have loved to have been more successful. But I've painted, and I am good tired, and they can take me away. Now, there is a process in your and my lives, in the insecurity that we have about a prior life or an afterlife. God, I hope there is a God. If he does exist, he's got a rather weird sense of humor, however. But if there's a process that will allow us to live our days, that will allow us that degree of equanimity towards the end, looking at that black, implacable wall of death, that will allow us that degree of peace, that degree of non-fear, I want in.
Wow. Wow. Man, that still gives me goosebumps. It absolutely does. And just to go back and reiterate some of those things. So, he talked about good tired, and ironically enough can be a day that you lost. But you don't even have to tell yourself, because you knew that you fought your battles, you chased your dreams, you lived your days. And when you hit the hay at night, you settle easy. You sleep the sleep of the just. Wow. Harry, all my life I wanted to be a painter, and I painted. God, I would have loved to have been more successful, but I painted. And I'm good tired. What can you take away from that? What can you take away from that? Life is tiring. We get tired living life, don't we? We just get tired. But rest assured, we only get one chance at this thing called life. Every day that passes is a day that we don't get back. And the choices that we make in living that day, and the choices that we make in living every day, creates the life that we have. We can be bad tired, or we can be good tired. When we tune in and we focus our life on other people's battles, we live with toxic people, we partake in gossip, of a nighttime we toss and turn. As we wrestle internally with where we are and what the hell are we doing? But that good tired that comes from working on something of your passion, something that moves and motivates you. This is the good tired that Harry's grandfather speaks of. Even on a day we may have lost, we sleep the sleep of the just by working on your passion, by working on your purpose, being good tired is the best way to live your life. And if you can face the day every day knowing that, you're moving towards your best place. So what is your passion? What is your purpose? How can you sleep the sleep of the just? What do you need to do to sleep the sleep of the just? And move away from the tossing and the turning of living a life of fighting other people's battles and other people's dreams. Whatever it is that you do today, do it with passion and do it for you. I hope you've really enjoyed this little snippet that I shared with you today. If you, as I said, Harry Chapin, magical songwriter. We lost him way too early. And as I said, the link is in the description to his iTunes music page. But look it up, man. It's just fills me with inspiration every time I get into a story. Cats in the Cradle's just magnificent, and a fantastic story for every father. Every father will identify with that. Hey, a big thank you for listening. If you have enjoyed this, or if you feel that it's got some value for other people, please share. Please share with those people that you think would enjoy this podcast. Or please give us a review on any of the platforms that you listen to this to. The more reviews we get, the more 5-star reviews we get, the more likely we are to be recommended by that platform for people listening to other podcasts of a similar ilk. So we welcome and love and appreciate every single review that we get. So if we have been of value, please share that. Share the podcast with your friends and give us a review so other people can find us. A big shout out to my team at Think and Grow Business. If it wasn't for them, this podcast just simply wouldn't exist. Think and Grow Business, we improve the performance of people in business. Don't forget, I do have a book out there. It is available at Amazon and all good online retailers. You can also pick it up at my authors page at tonycurl.com. and 20% of every book sold supports Carter's cause, raising funds and awareness for Heart Kids Australia, for kids and families of children born with congenital heart disease. Thank you for listening. Look forward to... I'm going to try and do another podcast before the end of the week. This week's a really packed week for me. I've got a fair bit of travel on the agenda, so I'm really looking forward to that. But I'm really wanting to share another podcast now. We want to get this one out Monday morning. We want to get another one out Friday afternoon, just to start and finish the week in a really positive sense. But whatever you do, face today stronger, braver, and wiser. And don't forget the golden rule. Just don't be an arsehole.